The great violin player Joseph Silverstein once said to me, he said, "You know, you move all over the place, but I go up bow and I go down bow, and that's it." And I thought, what's he talking about? Well, he went on to explain to me that I had a lot of hand motion when I was playing, like that. I used to move my hand so much when I was playing. And Joseph Silverstein said, you shouldn't do that. He said, you can practice like that, but really, if your hand's nice and loose and you know the direction of your bow, all you need to do is to go down bow and up bow, like that. So you don't need to move around too much. And I thought about that for a long, long time. And, you know, he's right. The main thing is that your bow needs to be going in the right direction on the string, and you need to be producing the sound that you want. And we need to make the bow feel like it's miles long, so we need to make sure that our bow changes are very, very smooth. Well, the bow changes being smooth, we don't need a lot of motion in the fingers and the wrist and the arm and everything. We just need the flexibility in there. So if you look at your hand like this and it's nice and flexible, that's all we need. And when we change, we need to make sure, like if we're changing at the tip, that the bow changes exactly in the same direction. So when you see this, I stop there. I just stay in the same place and just go up bow. So I see a lot of people do things like this. So that the contact point changes, the contact point being the distance between the bridge and the fingerboard, or where we're playing right here on the string with the bow, that the contact point needs to remain the same when we change the bow. That is the simplest way of going about having smooth bow changes. So if you notice when I do this, that the bow changes exactly where... The bow changes exactly in the same place over here. So that is called keeping the same contact point. Now, when we try to keep that same contact point, the easiest way to do that is to look at your contact point. And I tell all my students, I say, well, whatever you're doing when you're performing, you know, don't look around. Because one of your great senses, your sight, is not being utilized in your playing. So in order to use our sight in our playing, we need to be taking a look at what we're doing. So we really have two main places we need to keep our contact with our eyes on, and that's the contact point over here and our fingers touching the string. All the sound that comes from your instrument comes from there. It either comes from here, or it comes from here with the pads of our finger and the vibrato, etc. Other than that, there's a lot of variation. So the closer you are to your instrument, the more result that you get. So I'm very careful all the time when I'm teaching to tell people that you should keep your bow placement very, very, very stable. And to do that, when you're performing, most of what you do should be watching your contact point and making sure that it stays where you want it to. So if you watch very carefully, I'm going to be controlling my contact point with my eyes. You can see that I move towards the bridge, away from the bridge a little bit. If I need a little bit more sound, I pull towards the bridge. If I want it to be a little bit more transparent, I'll move it away from the bridge. And then I make sure that when I change the bow, that the bow is always very constant on the contact point. And that keeps my sound nice and smooth. Well, that's just a quick little video about a few tips on how to make a beautiful sound. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And until I see you the next time, happy practicing.